14 hours ago, an American pilot almost died. Not almost as in close call, almost as in the Iranian weapon system achieved a clean lock, missile ready, trigger finger moving, zero margin for error. And then, in a fraction of a second that will echo through every military command center from Tehran to Beijing, everything changed. Here's the question that should keep you watching. Why didn't Iran pull that trigger? Because they couldn't. And the reason why is one of the most classified, most devastating demonstrations of electronic warfare dominance ever executed over the Persian Gulf. By the end of this, you'll understand exactly what happened up there, and you'll understand why Iran's military command is sitting in a room right now in complete silence trying to explain the unexplainable. The chessboard. To understand what happened 14 hours ago, you need to understand the board. Iran has known for weeks that a strike is coming. Satellite imagery, available to anyone with an internet connection, shows frantic construction activity at Fordow, Natanz, and Parchin. Reinforced concrete poured over enrichment facilities, soil displaced in quantities that suggest deep burial operations, the kind of engineering you do when you believe bunker-busting munitions are already loaded on aircraft carriers 300 miles offshore. And they are. The USS Abraham Lincoln is holding position in the Persian Gulf with a full carrier strike group, 60 aircraft, Tomahawk-armed destroyers, submarines running silent beneath the thermocline where no Iranian sonar can reach them. This is not a show of force. This is a loaded gun with the safety off. But here's the geopolitical calculus that makes this dangerous. Scared regimes don't go quiet. History is unambiguous on this point. Cornered governments, North Korea in 1968, Iraq in 1990, Argentina in 1982, they escalate. They do something dramatic, something that proves to their own population that they are not afraid, that the great Satan blinked first. Iran's Revolutionary Guard Air Force Command makes a decision. They are going to send a message, a real one, and the Americans are going to let them try. The bait. At 0300 hours, a single radar contact appears on Iranian ground stations along the coast. One aircraft, FA-18 Super Hornet, squawking no formation, no escort, flying a lazy orbit over international waters, but edging incrementally, almost carelessly, toward Iranian airspace. On paper, this looks like a navigational error, a young pilot who drifted off course. Gift-wrapped. The Iranian radar operator cannot believe what he's seeing. He calls his supervisor calls Theater Command. Theater Command makes a decision in under 4 minutes. Scramble the F-14. Now, let's talk about this aircraft, because the Iranian F-14 Tomcat deserves serious respect and serious context. These jets entered Iranian service in 1979, the same year the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan, the same year disco was dying. Iran has been keeping these airframes operational for 46 years through a combination of black market component smuggling, reverse-engineered parts, and maintenance crews who are genuinely, objectively brilliant at improvisation. The AIM-504 Phoenix missile those jets were designed to carry long since depleted. What Iran fields today is a heavily modified platform running domestically produced radar and locally adapted weapon systems. Underestimate them and you die, but understand them clearly. These are not the machines that terrorized Soviet naval planners in the 1980s. These are survivors, capable, dangerous, but flying against a completely different century of warfare. The Iranian pilot doesn't think about any of this. He has a contact, he has authorization. He climbs through 15,000 feet, pushes his throttles into afterburner, and begins his intercept. 12 minutes to engagement range.
The lock. The F-14's AWG-9 radar, or what's left of it after 4 decades of improvised maintenance, sweeps forward and finds the contact immediately. One aircraft. Slow, steady, not maneuvering, not running. The radar return is fat and clean, the kind of textbook lock that instructors use in training videos. 9 minutes. The Iranian pilot arms his missiles. His RIO, Radar Intercept Officer, confirms the lock. A steady acquisition tone fills the cockpit. To every sensor in that F-14, the target is real, it is close, and it is unaware. 6 minutes. He is composing his post-mission report in his head. He is thinking about state television. He is thinking about what it means to shoot down an American jet over the Persian Gulf and come home alive. He is thinking about history. 4 minutes. Distance closes to 800 meters. The target still hasn't maneuvered. The tone is perfect. Systems are green. He moves his thumb toward the trigger. But what the Iranian commanders didn't know, what they couldn't have known, was that the FA-18 on their radar screens didn't exist. The Ghost. The aircraft they were chasing was not a Super Hornet. It was an EA-18G Growler. From the outside, the Growler is visually identical to a standard FA-18F. Same airframe, same wing profile, same radar cross-section to any passive sensor system. Iran's radar operators could not tell the difference. That was not an accident. That was engineering with a specific, lethal purpose. The EA-18G Growler is not a fighter. It is not designed to kill aircraft. It is designed to kill the systems that fly them. It carries the AN/ALQ-99 jamming pod and the next generation AN/ALQ-218 wideband receiver, a sensor suite that can map, analyze, and exploit any electromagnetic signal in its vicinity in real time. The moment that Iranian F-14 went active with its radar, the Growler crew received a complete electromagnetic portrait of every system on that jet. Radar frequency, weapons guidance band, data link signature, communications channel, everything. The Growler crew had been waiting, patient, professional. The moment the acquisition tone confirmed weapons lock, that precise moment, they flipped a switch. The AN/ALQ-99 doesn't jam. That word is too small. It floods. It pours coherent, targeted, high-power electromagnetic energy into every frequency that Iranian jet depends on to fly, to fight, to communicate. In under 2 seconds, the F-14's radar reported garbage. The weapons guidance system reported contradictory data. The data link to ground control cut. Backup systems, sensing catastrophic interference, began executing error protocols that only created more errors. The Iranian pilot's cockpit went from throne room to coffin in the time it takes to exhale. He starts hitting buttons. Error, error, error. He gets on the radio, barely, and tells ground control his systems are down. Ground control tells him to troubleshoot. He tells ground control there is nothing left to troubleshoot. Ground control goes quiet. He banks away, broken, flying on manual inputs and instinct, trying to get this dying machine back to friendly airspace before something critical fails permanently. He thinks the worst is over. He is wrong. At altitude, a second aircraft has been watching every second of this engagement, an F-35C, invisible to radar, invisible to the naked eye until it decides not to be. Its sensors tracked the F-14 from the moment it left the runway. It watched the lock. It watched the Growler execute. It watched the Iranian jet die electronically in real time. Now it descends. The Iranian pilot is flying home in humiliation, trying to process what just happened to him when he glances left out of his canopy. There is an American jet on his wing, not approaching, already there, steady, calm, matching his speed with mechanical precision, as if it had been flying formation with him for the last 20 minutes and simply hadn't introduced itself. The F-35C pilot looks across the gap. The Iranian pilot looks back. No radio threats, no aggressive maneuvering. The weapons base stays closed. The American simply raises 2 fingers, points them at his own eyes, then directs them directly at the Iranian pilot. I see you. I have always seen you. I see everything. The Iranian shakes his head. He has nothing. No radar, no missiles, no dignity. He flies. And then the American pilot decides he isn't quite finished making his point. The F-35C rolls, slow, deliberate, theatrical in a complete 360-degree barrel roll around the Iranian jet. Not aggressive, not threatening, worse, effortless. The message isn't, I could kill you. The message is, I am so far beyond you that this is entertainment. Then the Iranian pilot's radio crackles. He assumes it's ground control. It is the USS Abraham Lincoln. They are not transmitting a warning. They are playing music, Kenny Loggins' Danger Zone, directly into his cockpit on his own encrypted frequency through his own communication system at full volume, and he cannot turn it off because he cannot turn anything off. He flies the last 40 miles to the Iranian coast, listening to the Top Gun soundtrack on involuntary repeat in a jet that cost his government $60 million to keep flying, humiliated in ways that no military briefing document will ever fully capture. The fallout. In the hours after that pilot lands, and he does land, barely, 3 things happen simultaneously that no civilian news network will connect, but every intelligence analyst on Earth will notice. Iranian rial drops 2% against the dollar before Tehran can intervene. OPEC-adjacent oil futures tick upward as traders price in escalation risk. And in Beijing, in a room you'll never see photographs of, Military commanders who have been studying American carrier group doctrine for 30 years watch the engagement footage because they have it, they always have it, and they update their threat assessments in silence. Because what happened over the Persian Gulf today wasn't a dogfight, it wasn't an intercept, it was a demonstration. Carefully staged, precisely executed, broadcast to every military in the world on the only frequency that matters, capability. The Growler never fired a weapon, the F-35 never opened its bay, and Iran's most capable intercept platform was reduced to a radio playing 80s movie music at 30,000 feet. One question remains, and I want you to sit with it. If this is what America shows you on purpose, what are they hiding?